everyone. This is an update. Well, watch update. it's March. As you're aware, the Kickstarter's funded, obviously, a little while ago now. You probably think, why haven't I been in touch? Well, I've done a few little, couple of updates, but I've been quiet for. I've been quiet for a little while. I've been really busy. So I thought I would go through everything that's done, everything that's happened, and where we are in the project. So in case you don't know what this is really about. Now this is really good. This video, there's a lot of information here for people who want specific bits. And so I'm going to try and break this up. So I've sectioned it up, try and break it. I will do smaller videos later on. Hopefully this is going to give you some information, but there's quite a lot to get in there. This is going to be a long video. I'm really sorry, but that's just the way it's going to be. So, right, let's get started. Before I do that, drink some coffee, which has now got cold during the setup. Anyway, metal. I spent, obviously, we did one prototype. Well, that's the second prototype at the back there. We did one prototype, which I made 3 of them, and I've done videos on that. People have seen it. Obviously, it's been used in the picture you can see here. You can see in the picture. So we had a black and a white one. The main difference with the second prototype was I decided to make the depth an extra inch. This is because, well, mainly for the PC, to be fair. If you're building the PC and it got a little bit crammed in there. And there's also a couple of parts have changed. There's a couple of extra parts. There's a couple of differences, minor differences, which I'm not going to go into on this. But there's a skinny tray. So there's a big tray, and then there's going to be a lot of this. At least it would be if I had the parts. Let's have a quick look. No, that figures. That figures. Right, okay. But we can still go through this. So a couple of little bits. The PSU support you may have seen before was literally just like a U shape, and it was stupid. Now it's a lot more interesting. Again, this will be on the site. You can, when you see, you can see this on the site. But basically, what this does now, I don't know if you can pick this up. Okay, because the focusing, I have to turn off autofocus because my camera, don't worry about it anyway. So, but all you need to know is, right, and you'll see this on the site, that this thing now, not only when you screw it into the rear, it acts as a tray which supports the PSU. Now, the only reason for that is I'm going to build systems with a PSU in it and ship it. So I want it, it doesn't really need, if you're building it at home, you don't really need this. Okay, it's not really a big deal. These bits might be, but the actual support's not a big deal. But if I'm shipping them, it needs a bit more support, so it's not just relying on them screws. It's actually got this thing sits, the power supply literally sits on it, and it gives it extra support. So for shipping, and that's the main reason for that. But also, if you've got an SD extender card, little blocks that you put in, and there's a ribbon that goes off and plugs in. Again, I don't know if you can see this, but there's a mounting plate and a hole at the back, so you screw it in and you can get to it from the rear of the machine, which is quite nice. And there's also a USB cutout if you want to extend a USB connector on the back. So it just make more use of that hole. Another thing, here's the little drive tray, and there's this mount frame. The idea of this mount frame so that you can put, which I haven't got out, SD card, the multi-card things. You'll be able to mount them on, depends. But there is also a skinny version of the drive tray. Now, with this case, you can mount this either side of the case. Now, obviously, you're not going to put a drive on it and then put it into the LED to come out. Obviously not. This is For example, if you've got like a water cooling solution and you want to mount an internal 2.5-inch drive, you can put this on the right hand side or the left hand side. It's completely up to you. But there's now also a skinny version which allows you to put both in. And so you can have, it gets quite tricky, but you can kind of put in one of these card readers to stick out if you've got a water cooling unit. It's just some flexibility. So that's an option, that skinny drive tray, because you don't really, it's only certain case you need it. Right, so the key thing about this is the design for the metalwork is finished. And the second prototype has been made. You can see it at the back there. You can take a word for it, you can see it. And the production has already started. So the production is about 2 to 3 months, let's say 3 months, well in time for the July, okay? So, but that's actually started, the metalwork, which is a big deal because obviously that's one of the longest parts, down the plastics. But that's let's not do that because the mic's on there, right? So that's good news. The metalwork started. Colour packaging, as you can see here, colour packaging that's finished. Because we changed the size of the case, we had to rejig the design of the packaging. It's slightly changed from what you've seen. You've seen pictures of it with the keycaps mounted above the case. It's changed, it goes underneath now, but the manual's still sit above, so when you open it up, you get that lovely view of the case, the manuals, and keycaps got a place underneath now. So that's already, they're being manufactured now as well. They're on about 5-6 week turnaround. So that's all good news. Plastic fronts. So as you're probably aware, there was only one part to be made, which is literally the main plastic front, because all the other molds are going to be reused, and the parts can swap between the Mini and the Plus. So things like the button, power button, all the 4 different panel covers, they're all the same. So it's only really the big main one, which is one of the reasons why we didn't need quite so much money. That design was finished. I've literally just sent it over and they've said it looks okay. They're going to do a quick test on it tomorrow, but that's looking like that's now finished. We need a 3D print of it, obviously. That's just belt and braces, but I'll get a couple of them samples. They'll fly them over. So within a week I should order that, get the mould made. That takes about, to make the mould takes a month, to then do the production once it's obviously approved. Say 2 months to get the things made. The problem then is it's got to be shipped, and then it's around 6 weeks to get here. So we are kind of a little bit running behind, close to line with the plastics. Right, all cables, all the LED cables. It's not actually much on this one. It's only really the same LED cables on this, so they've all been ordered. The LED, all the cables have been ordered. All the main core cables have been ordered. The LED circuit board's been ordered, along with some Zorro boards, but that's something else. So they're all being ordered. They're going to be here soon, actually. The cables and the circuit boards are probably going to be in about 3 or 4 weeks. So that's all good. Right. Now, interestingly, let's put some different pictures up here. Some of you are aware, one of the things we're offering is, with the case, is the UnAmiga ITX, which is being custom designed from versions that Edu Arana does with his UnAmiga. He's done about 2 or 3 versions now, and he's got an UnAmiga Reloaded, but he's custom made one, an ITX version for us. And I'm the only one who's going to be selling these, so they're both this and the MiSTix are coming through me only. Now, again, that wasn't me that said that. I didn't stipulate that, but he wanted me to take control, which is great because it means you can only get it from me. And as you can see, it's in black. This is the prototype, but actually it's pretty much finished. There will be that little Wi-Fi serial I/O board on it. It's not got a picture of it there, but this is a really good one because, again, this is my favourite. See, look, if you look over there, that's my UnAmiga there. it's my fave, and I really love it. It's a little bit hardcore for some people because it doesn't have high-speed internet, and it doesn't have USB support, and it doesn't have this, and it doesn't have that. Things the Amiga really didn't have. Yeah, I love the UnAmiga. I think this is my favourite personally, but it's not for everyone. That's why we're doing different things. So that's all good news. So I've literally paid for now. There's only going to be initially. There's going. Oh, I suppose I should. I'll capture that in a minute. I've ordered. It's cost me a fortune. I spent all the profit for the cases already on the bits I'm going to explain. So I've ordered 50 UnAmigas and I've ordered 50 MiSTix boards, and they are really aimed at people who have got backers. So for probably a month, no one else will be able to order these except backers. So I'm going to email everyone. I'm going to give them a month to say, if you want to order it, you need to get in there and order one. I think they're going to go really quick, and then in that case, that's great. I'll order some more. But I have to be very careful here because not overspending. I'm not rich, as a lot of you probably know. And so it's an awful lot of money to spend out. So a little bit of hopefully I'm blown it all. So hopefully you guys really like them as much as I do. I think the MiSTix is going to sell by the boatload, to be honest. I think the UnAmiga is a bit more. You need to. I like to think you need to be a bit hardcore Amiga fan. Because people say, "Wow, where's the networking?" Well, it hasn't got networking, but it's got a serial on-board system which you can set up to be a serial speed network, so you can get some kind of TCP/IP. The easiest thing is just to take the SD card out of it, because you're going to get the software and the emulation software anyway. Plug it into a Windows PC or Mac, run the Amiga Forever up, and set your drive up accordingly, and away you go. That's the way to do that. But you can theoretically have it, and I haven't done mine, but I know people who have, so it does work. But the MiSTix answers all your questions. But as I said, they're paid for. Let me show you the pictures of the final MiSTix. So this is the final one. Now, important to understand that when these ship, this is green. The final ones are black. I begged, pleaded, offered all kinds of unspeakable acts for Edu to do this in black, and so we're going to have nice black circuit boards for the MiSTix as well, which I think will look fantastic. And as you can see, it's got a second board on there now, so you can. Sorry, I'm pointing out. It's got a second board on there which you can mount I think it's 50mm, 40mm fan. So you can put heatsink on it and a fan if you want it. Which was good. So, and if I click on now, it has got, let me just click on this. Oh, in fact, I think there's one. Here we go. So if you look at this picture, you can see from going from the left, there's 4 USBs on the back. Now, one of the USBs is being used for that 9-pin DIN conversion to give you a joy port. Okay. Then you've got your stereo output. That next one is the serial I/O, which is, it looks like a USB port, but it's not. That's on the back. There's some funky stuff being done with that. And the next bit, obviously, a 15-pin DIN. If you see that cable on the left-hand side, that goes off, and that gives you 2 more USBs. Oh, typical, put it down. And 2 more USBs, which will go one of these. Okay, so basically, it's one of these things. It's not a good picture actually. It's quite tricky to show you this. Anyway, but yeah, so that goes in there. That then plugs, as you can see in here, and gives you another 2. So in total, we've got 7 USBs, right? Which I think is pretty damn good. Now, also on the back, now you can't see the mount frame here. If I put this one back up just for a second, you can see there's a white mount frame there. They're black and white. I think it might only be white ones I'm doing, actually. I'm not sure yet. But that's a custom one that's been made. There's been a custom one made for the MiSTix. Obviously, there's also one for the Vampire that's out. If people want that to mount that in, I'm only going to do 50 of them. because I'm literally, I promised I would do it. I'm going to do 50. If the demand gets stupid, but you have to, basically what you do is you take the whole box. I've already shown pictures of this. Take the whole box because they do not want to open it up. If you take it apart and put it in the case, void your warranty. So we're not, so let's stick the whole box in. Whole box goes in. The key thing is this affects obviously the MiSTix and the Vampire. In fact, all three of them actually. If you look on here, I don't know if you can see this, not picking it up now. So if you look on the left of the picture, there's an HDMI port. Here is one of the cables. You get all this with it. Okay, so here's one of the cables. It's basically a panel mount. Okay, so what it does is you plug this end into the D10 Nano, and at this end screws on the back of the board, the frame, the mount frame, and that gives you your HDMI at the back. And before you say anything, here's the Ethernet one, same thing again, screw that on the back. So I think that's that's covered with the dual. So basically, when you buy your kits from us, the Mini ITS comes with a mounting frame with sockets on the back, so you get this nice, neat rear, and it's all nice and tidy. This is something different, but you can see this is the Pi one that we did. It's all nice and neat and tidy, and I just think it's, oh God, blowing my own trumpet, obviously. But yeah, so MiSTix boards, I think it's going to be pretty spectacular. It is going to give you some serious performance. Lovely RTG. Wonderful RTG. If we'd had that back in the day, if you imagine this gives you, it's coming up in system value. It's about not quite, but almost 3 times the performance of a 3000 with RTG, high speed RTG, like Zora 3 kind of RTG. Obviously it's got a network on there. It's not quite like, it's not like networking for the Amiga, because remember the MiSTix, and this is the Mister basically. And so the Mister's about more than just Amiga. We're basically getting like 50 computer cores and hundreds of arcade games and all this stuff. That if you don't know what this is all about, you need to look into it. But if you're not just about wanting to run Amiga in this, for example, they have this 486 core, which is amazing. And it makes a fantastic little retro 486 machine, like 90 megahertz. Absolutely brilliant it is. It runs beautifully. It runs Windows 95, but I think it runs 98. But it's and then you've got all your arcade cores. You've got your Neo Geo cores. If you're playing computer, this is just fantastic. So all in all, it's a more expensive board because there's more parts to it. I suppose one question I'm going to address now is, will we ship separately? The answer is yes. When the first batch are announced, the idea of this batch is that people who have bought a mini case through the Kickstarter, there'd be a pack. They just literally buy the pack and I'll build it and ship it out to them. It comes with all the software. It's going to come with your Amiga OS licenses, and you'll see all that on the site. Also, there'll be, I'll come to the power packs later, but power supplies still are having a few problems with that. But it'll come with everything. So the first 50 will just disappear, but people who Kickstarter backers, because I did promise. I have to do this because I'm just nervous of spending thousands and thousands of pounds, which is a lot of money to me. Spending it all out and then no one goes, I don't really want it. So I'm doing it this way. Once they're sold, I'll just order another batch, okay? And we'll try and make it so it's nice and quick. So you will be pre-ordering a few months before you're going to get it, and some people have already pre-ordered an UnAmiga, and I thank you very much. So they've already ordered and paid. So there's about half a dozen of them, but so that's great. But it is important to get in quick and get it right. So that's kind of quite a lot of information there. Hopefully it may have answered some of your information. This will be all in writing on the website. It's not there yet. It's going to go, but as I said, it is very much aimed at Kickstarter backers. Now, some people have asked who bought my old cases. Oh, well, we bought the old case. Yeah, okay, I'm probably going to be, as long as you got a case from me, right, I think it's more than likely, but it is really aimed, it's going to be first come, first serve. But if you've got a Kickstarter for a new case, and if you've got, for example, one of my big cases, then you will be allowed to order. Now, in reality is if they sell out on day one, then I'll just order a load more, and then I'll release more for people to order. So that'll all be good. So ultimately, you know, if it's very slow to sell, then I was wise not to order so many. But I think the MiSTix is going to sell very well. I really do. The UnAmiga ITX is a little bit more. It is a little bit more than Edu's selling his, mainly because I'm including a lot of OS stuff on it. So there's about 80 quid's worth of licenses on it. So that's a little bit more expensive, but it's more of a complete system, and comes with card and plug it in, turn it on, off you go. Okay, so that's the board. Right, so that's that. Now, the next thing. Yeah, so all of these cables have been ordered from China. They're on their way. So I have loads of them, which would be great. Next thing, keyboards. As you may or may not have known, let me see if I can get a picture to show you. Here we go. There we go. Let me let's go view actual site. Oh no. let's zoom to fit. What do you think? Oh, okay. Anyway, you get the picture. So, right, why am I showing you with no keycaps on it? Okay. Well, there's a good reason for that. Let me see if I can zoom it out a little bit, just so you can zoom out. That's better, right. Now, I've spent a lot of time buying lots of keyboards all around the world. Now, let me explain what I'm trying to achieve here, because I get people say, oh, does this mean I can put keycaps in on Amigas? No. I'm not recreating an exact replica of an Amiga keyboard. I'm not, because there are people doing that and doing a fantastic job. Amiga on the Lake and Kipper 2K have done a fantastic one. It's a couple of £100, but it's great. It's got Cherry MX switches, and it's just wonderful. What I'm trying to do is to get a budget one, so you get the benefit of the Cherry MX switches with the keycap, custom keycaps, in a package that you can afford to buy. But it's not perfect, okay? So you'll see here, now these have all got red switches. Now I know people are going, but I like browns. Buy your own bloody keyboard, that's fine, I don't care. I really like the red switches. Let's grab them. I really like the red switches. I mean, so it's my choice. I'm the one who paid thousands to get them. But I think you'll be pleased. If I get this up to here, they're just lovely. I mean, absolutely lovely quality. So the idea is then, okay, so I've got a base keyboard. Now, a lot of people are going to hate the fact that I've got this jog shuttle on there, okay? It's a volume dial, and it's got the play. When he first saw it, I thought, oh, I don't know. But actually, when it turned, I fell in love with it, okay? Because an Amiga is a music computer, okay? So this is designed purely for the MiSTix or the Pis or PC, because it is literally a Windows keyboard that we've modified. So, but you can see I've got custom keycaps on it. And if I put this picture here, hang on, bear with me, open with preview. Okay, so what we have now, it's very, I know the eagle-eyed among you are probably going to freak out instantly, because it's an ANSI keyboard, it's not an ISO keyboard. Now these keyboards would have done it. Now the problem we have is this, that I am not custom making keycaps. I'm not molding keycaps. What I've done is I've gone to an existing supplier that manufactures quality keyboards. I've found something I think is suitable. I after searching, I've been doing this for months. After searching, I found a good company that manufactures keycaps, that will do custom keycaps in various colours. And so what I've done is Renee, I forgot her surname, but Renee designed this keycap set, right, which is very faithful to the Amiga, as you can see on here. And but it's really designed for an ISO. Now, if you don't know what ISO means, well, you don't care. Then you just like it. Do you like it or don't you like it, right? But what that means is the enter key here should be a great big fat thing. But the company that I get these keycaps from, they can't provide them. Now, if you want to say to me, yeah, Bob, Steve, you could just hunt a bit more. Well, yeah, you can too. So what I suggest you do is, if this doesn't suit you, okay, then there's a company called WASD Keyboards in America, and they will custom make them for you. The keycaps about £50, or whatever that is in your own thing. Whereas these are going to be £29, okay. And that's the keycaps, not the keyboard again. So the keycaps, £29, okay. The keyboard, I think, is around 50 quid, something like that. It will be up on the site. You'll see it. But it's in that kind of price range where a mechanical keyboard is normally charged, which is around £80, 70 to £100 for a mechanical keyboard. Okay. Now this does have fancy lighting as well. It does have RGB lighting. It may not be your taste. You can turn that off, but it does come with it. So basically, it's a lovely keyboard, and I love these switches. They really are nice. So it's my choice, whether you like it or not. Don't buy it if you don't like it, but a lot of people are going to like this. And I think you'll be very happy. Now, it'll work with, obviously, the mini case, and it'll work with the plus case, but it won't slide under the plus case because it's too bloody big, because it's got this great big keycap set, big bunch of stuff over here. And no, I won't be doing the same thing for that. However, the great thing is, because of the keycap sets, if you want to get yourself what's called a TKL keyboard, which is one without that number pad on the end, you can buy one of these keycaps. Again, you're limited. You can't do ISO. I can't do an ISO big fat key. It's ANSI. If you can live with the ANSI, right, then you can order one of these keycap sets. And again, it's American, completely American. Later on, I will no doubt start trying. If this takes off, then I will start bringing in international. I mean, I haven't even got a pound key on, so I'm having to be very careful. I've ordered 300 keycaps now. Now, the reason is because there's 100 this colour, right? There's 100 dark grey. They're not black, they're dark grey, because I have to go with the supply of what the manufacturer has. They do look very close to black, but they are dark grey. And then there's also, if I click on this one here, there's a grey one, which is really nice. So I wasn't actually going to do this. I wasn't actually going to do the grey ones. But a lot of people, when I did a poll, 100 people went onto the poll. It was even between the three colours. So I am doing the greys now. So they're not going to be a perfect match. I mean, what I've tried to do is get it within the constraints of the supply chain, what I can get to make it look as good as possible. So it's very important that you don't, if anyone comes to me and says it's not a perfect match, I'm tough. It's not. It's close. It looks really nice, and that's my gut feeling. But I love these keys. Right. So I think that's a really good quality keyboard, and they will become soon. Again, I've ordered I took 100 black keyboards and 100 white keyboards. Keycaps. So there's the white and grey, which are these, the white and cream, and then there's the dark grey, not black. But they all look really nice. And there's 100 white keyboards. There's 100 black keyboards, both the same, coming over. They're being manufactured at the moment, probably 2 or 3 months. Keycaps are probably not far off done. There's 100 sets of each, so they are limited. And I can order more, it's not a big deal, but I'm kind of dipping my toe in because this costs thousands. So all my profit that I'm making from the mini cases, I've literally spent it on keycaps, keyboards, and the UnAmiga and the MiSTix boards, literally buying stock. So I just hope they sell. Right, okay, so that's that. Okay, next thing, AMI hybrid software. As you probably know, I'm doing this AMI hybrid system, Amiga hybrid I'd like to call it, but until I get permission. And the idea of this is it's a Linux, it's a Manjaro distribution running Amiberry from Dimitri. And he's done some fantastic work. So the Amiga, when you boot it, it boots straight into Amiga. Okay, you just see Amiga. But then you can run Chrome and any other Linux application, and you can, if you want to, you can minimize the Amiga to Manjaro, so you have a Manjaro desktop hidden away in the background with the Amiga apps running in front. Now, what this does is it's a full-blown, fastest, but reasonable. I mean, unless you go into silly PCs, it's really fast, based on Raspberry Pi 4. You get 1,000 MIPS if you overclock it. The graphics are amazing. And as I said, you can run Chrome and it runs at a good speed. You can run YouTube, you can run 1080p video. I mean, technically, it's also a 2-monitor system. I mean, it's just, bear in mind the 2 monitors on the Amiga is not quite going to work yet. You'd have Linux on that one and Amiga on that one. But there's a lot being done on this. Now, the key thing at the moment is, what's happened is Jan from Amikit has taken this project over, and as you've probably seen this, Amikit XE is now being released for Pi soon, probably a couple of weeks. I know I've got some orders outstanding for people, and I said it shipped 1st of March. It's been rolling back a little bit, so I apologise for that, but I was hoping for March. But, you know, what you're going to get is going to be absolutely amazing. So if you've pre-ordered that, fantastic, you'll get that. Plug it in, away you go. Now, if you buy, what the point about this is that you don't have to buy this from me. You can go to Jan, get yourself a Pi 4, see what you think about it. It's absolutely amazing. So, stupidly fast. I mean, if you get yourself the fastest Amiga 060 or whatever, one of the FPGAs, it's 4 or 5 times faster than that. It's crazy fast. So, but not everyone like this is true software emulation. And a lot of people don't like that, and they want the FPGAs. That's cool. Having said that, one of the things about the the software emulation was, and I was really the one that I moaned about this a lot. When you run something on an FPGA and you run demos, they're so smooth as everything moves across the screen because it's time accurate. Unfortunately, the Amiberry, if you run it in 50 Hertz, it is just as smooth as an FPGA. It looks amazing. So Dimitri's done some great work on that, and now you kind of, well, why are you buying an FPGA? But look, if you know why you want an FPGA, buy it. If you just want stuff to look great and be fast, this Pi 4 system is just amazing. And again, obviously, I've got you covered. Comes in white and black. So you can see here, these are our Pi 4 fitting kits. Point it again. And you can see they've got there's a port adapter on there, so all the ports come on the back, converts them from mini HDMI to normal HDMI. There's our ATX adapter board. Some people have already pre-ordered these. They are delayed. The only reason they're delayed, I could ship. One reason is because of they're getting it with software, and obviously Amikit is a little bit delayed. But more importantly, the ATX boards, my boards that are on there, the new batch have got a power LED connector. So instead of having to stick it on a GPIO pin, we've got that covered now. You just literally put it on the ATX board, and that gives you power. It still doesn't help you with the drive access, but I think that's a much better way of doing it. And then it frees all your GPIO pins. So I'm delaying it for that board to come. That badge is coming in 2 or 3 weeks, and then I'll ship all of those out with the power LEDs. I think people will really appreciate that. So yeah, Jan's doing this. He's got the pricing fantastic, I think, for this. And so I will say it is wonderful what he's done. The work he's done on this is absolutely amazing. Now, when we ship it complete with that, what I'm doing is, because you're getting the full physical package, Amiga Forever, it has a load of games on it and a load of demos on that. So we're pre-installing them on the other system. For example, we're putting Amos on there, complete. And there's P-Paint going to be on there, the latest P-Paint, because that's on the Amiga Forever package. So there's a lot of stuff being put on there on this system, so you can instantly go in and play. And then we'll, as I said, a load of demos and a load of games, so you can get started straight away. Now I'm doing it this way. I'm not putting any more. Don't ask me to put any more on. I'm doing this because they are on the DVD, so I think it's fair that I put them on the distribution that we ship. Right, next one. Yeah, the Kickstarter backers. That data's going to be uploaded soon, and then the backers will be able to finish their orders, sort their orders out. I haven't rushed because people don't want to rush to spend the money. But I think it's important that, okay, so if you do want to get one of the UnAmigas or you do want to get one of the MiSTix, guaranteed get one of this batch, then ideally you need to order it straight away. Pay for it. Once you pay for it, get your invoice. It's the same as before. Put all your details, your address details, etc., etc., etc. Pay for it. Bang, you've got an invoice number. That's it. You're solid, right? Yes, you still got to wait 2 or 3 months, but you are solid. And then once I've sold, if I do sell out of them, then we'll order a batch more. Having said that, I think if they sell really quick, we can get another batch ordered in. But obviously, maybe it's going to be a bit later on. So you're better off getting them ordered quick. I've already said this. Only 50 of the MiSTix and UnAmiga boards are going to be available to order. So get that. I know it sounds like, oh, now it's £8, but no, it really is. I mean, because I've taken a gamble of making these. Now, interestingly, the MiSTix community flooding over, and if you're watching this, thank you, but again, it is the Kickstarter backers that have funded this, so they will be getting boards first. If they sell out, I will order more. It's not a problem. If you're going to say to me, oh, but I only want the board, I've already got a Mister, it gets a little bit more tricky, because it's, for me, I may do it X Mister, do 2. I'm trying to work that out at the moment, because that's a perfectly reasonable. I think you've already got a D10 Nano. So I'm trying to decide on that, but there'll probably be 2, one with and one without. Yeah, so if you want it, get it. But later on, once I've shipped all the cases out, around, start doing it in around July. Once I've done that, then we'll get a feel for how it's going, and I'll order a load more boards, and then we'll be able to do the boards. You'll still need the mount. I'll be selling the board with the mount frame with all the cables, so you can fit it. That will all be coming as a pack, and then you'll be able to just put your own bits together, and that's cool. PSUs, right? Let's talk about PSUs. Now, you would have thought ordering the power supplies would be really easy, but the problem we've got is this: that these systems. Now, I know people have said to me, "Well, you could just put a Pico ATX adapter in there." But the funny thing is, if you've tried to order one of those, and if you order one from the UK, they're like £40, £35, £40 for 150 watts, and then you've got to buy the power pack, which is another £20 on top, so you're spending £50 on a Pico, when you can pick up one of these for about £40 or £50. So, and the case is designed for SFX power supplies. Okay, now this is a working one, all right? Unfortunately, these don't work, and I've been going through it. I even had one turner supplier. I'm trying to get them from China. One supplier, was it this one? Might have been this company. They sent me 2, right? And I plugged one in, and it just took out my house, the fuse on the house. Bang! Everything went. Oh Christ! Blew the thing up. So that supply went out the window. I'm ordering loads of these from around the world, trying to get them in. The best one so far was actually this one, which is a company called Colink, right? Fantastic. I really like this. 250 watt, complete overkill, right? But here's the problem we have. Yeah. Here's the problem we have with these things, right? You plug them in, I'm only drawing 5 volts, and I'm probably only drawing 2-3 amps. Yeah, so it's complete overkill. But these power supplies, a lot of them won't even start if there's nothing on the 12 and the 3 volt line, or 3.3, whatever it is. It won't even start the power supply, so there's not enough draw. Now we do have on our ATX board that you can put some resistors on there, but I don't to draw, and so okay, I'll start. But I wanted to get a power supply where we didn't have to do any of those hacks, because that's just generating heat and wasting electricity. It's really hard to find, and so 200. These are not this. This is 250, but I've got another supplier in China, like 4th or 5th attempt, saying they've got one and they can do this and they can supply them for me. So they're going to be coming in a couple of weeks, and then my idea is that we can then sell little SFX power supplies for around £40 ish. Okay. Now, yes, and I know, and anyone says to me, trying to be a smart ass, yeah, you can get a Pico, ones go to China. Yeah, it's true, you can get them for about $10-ish, but you still need the power pack, so that's another $5-10, and you got to ship them in, $20, but I'd be getting these, not much more, and if you go with the Pico, you've got this stupid little thing plugged in. I've got to make a thing at the back, an adapter. Just put one of these in. So I bought this. Now the other thing is, of course, that if you're building a PC, for God's sake, right, it's really important you buy a really good quality power supply. I mean, don't get me wrong, these are going to be good quality, but you don't want to be buying a little 200 watt one. You want like a 300, 350 upwards if you're putting a PC in it, something that's going to be up to the job. I usually put my other ones have got a 350, although actually, to be fair, my AMD Ryzen APU runs on a 250 quite happy, because the CPU is only 65 watt pot, so it runs more than happy. So that's power supply, so I have a lot of fun with them. The manual, you probably remember the old manual. People quite liked it. It's now grown. I've done about 90% of it. It's probably twice as thick now. But when you get the manual, it will include everything for all the systems. There's some extra information in there, that kind of thing. And it's that whole thing again. It's hopefully people are going to like the fact of having the manual. Now, again, if you buy the complete system, because in theory you get an AMOS with it, not in theory, but you're going to get AMOS in the setup. There's a manual that Phil wrote many years ago, which is going to come in the pack. That's why I've got that nice little thing on the top, and of course then your CD and DVDs from Amiga Forever. So yeah, and for people who are asking about Amiga OS 3.1.4, yes, I'm including it. We've only got 90 in at the moment, and there seems to be a few problems at Hyperion, which I've got to try and sort out what's going on. But I need to obviously get a load. I've got 90s. I've got enough licenses for that. I can get Amiga Forever, no problem, but I've got to sort out what's going on with Hyperion. So my plan has always been to ship both with the systems, and I'm going to continue doing that. Now, that was one of the things I was kind of glossing over earlier. If you've there's a good chance that the UnAmiga and MiSTix will come out with 3.1.4, and the reason is I actually quite like it. It's nice things like if you change your screen mode, test, little function, silly little things. There's a number of really nice things. It's a later version, etc. But you get it all. So you're going to get all the Amiga Forever ones on there. You have all the licenses for that. 3.1.4. So if you look and if you see on the, it may not happen on the defaults. I'm pretty sure, because it's pricing. It may be, if I do it on like for the UnAmiga and the MiSTix, there may be an extra tenner added. If you've already ordered an UnAmiga, don't worry, you get it for free. Don't worry about that; it won't affect you. But I haven't decided on it yet, because I've got to sort of supply out for the over 90 orders, and they're going to fly off the shelf. So I've got to kind of sort them out. But anyway, that's that. Right. Jobs. I was going to mention my job situation. So as you probably know, this is not my full-time job. I do this part-time, and it's knackering. And I have a full-time job. I work for a company called Web Labs in the UK. But I have recently I've dropped my days from 5 days a week to 4 days a week. And that's actually helping. So I'm recording this on Monday, which is really handy. So it's so yeah, it's my obviously long-term plan ultimately is really to do this full-time, but you know we're gonna have to see what happens, because obviously got a family to look after, bills like everyone else. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Amiga ownership, right? Amiga ownership. Yeah, okay. So you know, I'm still waiting. Obviously, like everybody else. Hopefully, they're going to resolve issues, and then we can sort out the rights to use the name, that kind of thing. I'd like to, again, you know, I want to call my thing Amiga Hybrid, but I need permission for that. And I suppose the last thing I've got actually a message here. It says stress. Yeah. Well, you know, it's hard work, isn't it? And so, I am taking a bit of a risk with this. All the profit from this Kickstarter batches has gone into paying for kit. Obviously, it's an investment. If they don't sell, I'm screwed. I'm confident they will, because I had lots of interest. But so ultimately, what I want to be able to do is quick turn. If I can do a quick turnaround on these sales, because I'll give you an example. The UnAmiga, Edu launched the Reloaded. Bang, went within 3 or 4 days, sold 50 of them straight away. And I'm hoping that we can do a similar thing with the ITX board. I want to hold them in stock, so if they do sell, I'll just order another batch, so we've got them in stock. But we'll see about that, because it's a little bit more expensive because you're paying for the licenses. Now and also I'm shooting myself in the face, because the UnAmiga Reloaded, I'm going to do a fitting kit, so that if you buy that and you really like it, you want to put it in a nice new case, I'll have a fitting kit so you can mount that in the case. Obviously it's going to sell one of my cases. But it means you won't be buying the old UnAmiga ITX. I don't mind pointing at the pie. Let's bring the right picture up. So it's really a case of if you want to do it as a gradual step, or if you're going to go bang. Yeah, so it's obviously spending an awful lot of money out buying all these products, and of course people say to me, "Well, you know, can you do this in your garage? Why don't you have a shed at the end of the garden to do this?" I mean, Jesus Christ! If you've seen I had to get a new office, which is more expense. I mean, like it's about 7 or 8 grand a year, right? To have proper premises. Now it's fantastic, but it really costs money. So you know, I'd have to make this work, but that's where a lot of the overhead goes. So people, you know, think, "Oh, you make loads of money." No, I'm not making loads of money out of this. I mean, but ultimately, I'm investing in the future. So we'll see what happens. Dream is to make more, to do other things, and to continue the case thing, and maybe to get a license to be able to manufacture actual Amigas, because I think we've got the package, we've got the packaging, the manuals, we've got everything's I think in place to be able to do this properly and professionally. But we'll see what happens with the owners. Okay, waffled on long enough. You've heard Alfie in the background. I'm now going to just shove this up, and then everyone can have a look and see what they think. But there will be another video coming fairly shortly after this. I'm going to be breaking it down into the different sections, so talk about each one. That's a good point. When the new this is going to be here in a couple of days. So this is the final one. You've probably seen the original, which is actually outside. I've got it outside the machine at the moment because I haven't got a case. Well, I've got a case, but I haven't got any fronts. That's the problem, because I've got a new front coming. So that's out of the case at the moment. And you could probably, if you're the eagle-eyed among you, will spot my little green D10 over there. That's for testing and setting stuff up. So This one's going back in the case. Yeah, this I mean, I'm going to have another one obviously coming in. I may, because this original, nothing wrong with this prototype, it's perfect. Yes, it's perfect. I may have a competition to give away the prototype, assuming Edu doesn't mind, but I don't know yet, because I'm actually quite attached to this. I actually quite like this. But yeah, so not with the D10 obviously, because that's going on my other board, but I may do that. We'll see. But yeah, okay, so there will be another video coming. Now I've got all the work done. Everything's once this final thing tomorrow. Once I get the go ahead on the plastics, everything's in hand. Everything's just being made. So the only thing I've got to do is sort out software, the distros, what have you. So that's really all I've got to do, and then wait for everything to start arriving. And then July. I may creep into June, but don't know yet because they're getting on a boat. Shipping is 7 weeks to ship, so it's probably still going to be planned July, which is what was quoted on the Kickstarter. But yeah, so everything should come on quite nicely, and then but we've got it's a lot more complex this because I've got different circuit boards, manufacturers in different countries, all over the place, and these power supplies has been an absolute minefield. It's not like just let's make a little board and ship a board. It's really complex, all of this, putting this all together. They've got all the problems of computer manufacture without selling thousands and being able to employ lots of people. So what you see is me doing everything. Anyway, that's it. Right, okay, so enough of this. I will Patreon, one little thing about Patreon. I put my Patreon badge on it, and I'll tell you why. I have just under 200 patrons, and if I do give this away, this is going to be silently going to be sorted out, and I'm probably going to go to a patron. One of my backers, a long-term backer. I have to be careful because the Patreon don't like you doing that kind of thing, but so it's going to be a tricky one. Yeah, my patrons, so they really give me a little bit of a buffer because it allows me to spend money on prototyping and experimentation. I'm buying stuff all the time. My wife laughs because I've got so many keyboards, different countries, and experimenting with it before I kind of settled onto that. I didn't even mention the PS2 keyboard. Jesus Christ, I haven't even mentioned that. The PS2 keyboard. So if you're buying an UnAmiga, you can only use PS2 keyboard and mouse. And if you think semi-smart people go, well, I can just get one of those USB to PS2 adapters. Yes, only if the USB keyboard supports PS2 protocol. So it doesn't always work. So that's important. But I've got 70 sets, and they're going to be very inexpensive, about a tenner. But so they're budget white PS2 keyboards and mouse, PS2 mouse. So I've got 70 of them. So the first batch of people you can get, I would suggest you buy one of them. But I've also got some actually really nice, now none of these are mechanicals, these are the old dome ones, right? But I've got some nice cherry ones, which I managed to get about 20 of them. This is from the company. They're all new old stock, been in the factory, but they're obviously quite old. They're quite hard to get. And I've got 20 cherry ones, which are lovely little, and I've got, as you can see, I've got it on my UnAmiga over there. I've also got 10, 15 of another make, which is slightly nicer. Now, the 70, they're functional, they work great, and they look okay, and they're white, and etc. But they're budget keyboards, so bear that in mind. But, we'll get you up and running. You maybe later on get yourself something a bit nicer. It's very hard for me to do anything, I can't do anything, so but we're working on other ways around it. But yeah, so there's probably about 90 white keyboards. I expect everyone to buy an UnAmiga or buy a white case, and I may actually limit it to the white cases because of keyboards. Anyway, I'll shut up now. That's it. And there goes my phone. I'm going to get this saved and uploaded and speak to you soon, but there will be another video coming relatively soon. So. Okay, thanks very much. Speak to you later. Bye.